Time to pull up a chair. We've got another great story for you today in the rLounge. You can't always get what you want. Today in the rLounge, buckle up. Prepare for a roller coaster of familial drama and questionable Christmas wish lists. Up first, a meddling mother-in-law thinks she knows best. Am I the a-hole for barring my mother-in-law from seeing my daughter after she cut and straightened my daughter's hair without permission? I, 39 female, have a daughter, Vihana, 14 female, with my husband, Cole, 39 male. I'm South Asian, and my husband and the rest of his family are white. My mother-in-law, Connie, had recently taken Vihana over the weekend at her and my father-in-law, Tom's, 65 male, house. They've had my daughter over the weekends and holiday stays before, so I wasn't worried about anything happening, and Vihana seemed fine during our morning and nightly phone calls. Today, when my mother-in-law dropped Vihana off, I was shocked to see her almost waist-length hair was now shoulder-length, and that it was now straightened. Vihana has been determined to grow her hair out since she was in the 6th grade and has expressed no desire to straighten her normally curly hair before. Vihana was crying and explained to me that her grandma had done this all herself and lied to her that I gave my permission for my mother-in-law to do this, which is why she didn't mention it when we talked. Needless to say, I was pissed, and after comforting my daughter, I told Cole what happened and we talked for an hour about what we should do about the situation. We eventually came to the agreement that my mother-in-law wouldn't be seeing Vihana alone until she learned to respect Vihana's boundaries. We ended up calling my father-in-law to see if he had anything to do with this, and he was horrified when we explained things to him and said that my mother-in-law gave him the same lie about getting my permission to do this. My father-in-law apologized profusely before hanging up, and I ended up sending a text to my mother-in-law about how she was unable to see Vihana alone until she apologized for what she did and learned to respect Vihana's boundaries. It was quiet for a while until Cole and I started getting bombarded with texts from both my mother-in-law and sister-in-law, Lucy. My mother-in-law is furious with me for trying to keep her away from her granddaughter and for telling my father-in-law what happened because he's now staying at a hotel and contemplating their marriage. Lucy is calling me a witch for what I did and saying it wasn't a crime for my mother-in-law to act in my daughter's best interest even if she went behind my back because clearly I wasn't going to take care of her. Let's see what the community thinks. First reaction: it wasn't your daughter's best interest. It actively went against her desires and her body autonomy. She lied to your daughter, to her husband, and actively did something she clearly knew was wrong. Well, she gets to pay the price. She's one of those people who doesn't believe any boundaries are meant for her, and she doesn't have to respect them. And telling your daughter that you approved? That's just disgusting. She's trying to undermine your relationship. Wow. Not the a-hole. Someone else chimes in. Lucy is calling me a witch for what I did and saying it wasn't a crime for my mother-in-law to act in my daughter's best interest, even if she went behind my back. No, Lucy. Mother-in-law firstly doesn't get to decide all by herself what's in the best interest of someone else's child. And no, Lucy, it's not okay to go behind people's backs. Father-in-law is contemplating his marriage. Surely not only because of one incident. It takes a lot more for people to get to a point where they contemplate their marriage. Maybe mother-in-law is a pathological liar and has done other damage too, and that's their problem to deal with. So yeah, OP, not the a-hole. Keep your mother-in-law away from your kid. I'm so sad for your daughter. It takes so much time and effort to grow and maintain hair. One more person chimes in. Not the a-hole. Good for you for standing up for your daughter. Don't listen to anyone telling you your mother-in-law was acting in your daughter's best interest. Your daughter is 14. She's old enough to decide for herself how she wants her hair. Your mother-in-law did this without her consent, and she was crying after. It clearly wasn't in her best interest. How was cutting your daughter's hair and completely decimating any boundaries she had with her and her body in her best interest? This is horrendous behavior. I'm so sorry. It's not only totally disrespectful of your daughter's body, but it's also disrespectful of her culture. What do you make of this? Up next, things are about to get feisty and festive at this family Christmas. Am I the a-hole for refusing to adhere to my sister-in-law's Christmas gift list? For Christmas, my 30 female husband, 30 male, and I are hosting my parents, my brother Chris, 34 male, his wife Amy, 33 female, their 2 sons, 6 and 4, my sister Lucia, 27 female, and her boyfriend, Alex, 30 male. The background to all of this is that Amy complains about every gift she is given by any of us. Every Christmas, she makes faces and snide remarks about the things she's gifted. For example, last year me and my husband, gifted Amy and Chris a joint present of an expensive coffee maker, which is the same one we have at home that Chris loved when they visited. Amy's only remark, not even a thank you, was, "Oh well, this isn't really for me, is it?" and then to make a great show of being annoyed that she didn't get a separate gift. A few days ago, Amy included the whole family on a group email with a Christmas list for her and the kids, saying that she would only accept gifts from this list. On her list was expensive perfumes, links to expensive clothing items, and designer handbags. I was livid. My parents were offended as well, but didn't want to say anything to Amy, but I wasn't going to hold back in the face of what I felt was grossly entitled behavior. I replied to Amy's email saying I wouldn't be purchasing anything on that list and that if she wanted to shop for a Louis Vuitton wallet, I was happy to put her in touch with my saleswoman. I also said that if she didn't like what she received for Christmas, she was welcome to just leave it at my house. Chris blew up at me saying Amy was just trying to make everything easier for everyone by giving suggestions. I disagreed and told him I think Amy was just trying to find a sneaky way to get a few things she normally can't afford for free, which in my opinion is not in the spirit of Christmas, and I think she's being extremely childish. My parents think I shouldn't have said anything, but Lucia says I absolutely should have because she wasn't going to be spending hundreds on Amy's Christmas list either. Was I the a-hole for not going along with it? Edit 1. For everyone asking, yes, Amy drinks coffee and uses the coffee machine. 2. No, she and Chris do not gift anyone anything of them value of the items on her list. Chris does the Christmas shopping, and our family isn't big on adult gifting. We buy big things for the kids, but we tend to get each other things like Christmas hampers for couples. Jumpers. I bought my mom a teapot from 1 year. Things like that. Certainly nothing in the price range Amy put on her list. Let's see how the community reacts. First response. Not the a-hole, but I have to ask, what kind of gifts do they give the rest of the family? Does she give dollar store gifts and ask for Louis Vuitton in exchange? I just want to know how much of an a-hole your sister-in-law is. The OP replies, my family isn't big adult gifters. We all normally get each other jumpers or gift sets, a Christmas hamper, if it's a joint gift, etc. Some things cost more than others, but I can't imagine any of us giving or receiving a single, meaning not joint with spouse, gift of the value of most of the things on Amy's list. Someone else responds, not the a-hole. Tell Chris and Amy that since you can't meet their gift expectations, you won't be exchanging gifts with them going forward. Tell them to please not give you any gifts because you won't be giving them any. You'll just give gifts to their kids, but you'll be choosing gifts that are within your budget. You weren't wrong to do this, OP. She's completely forgetting the meaning of Christmas. Moving forward, you should create a rule that says no gifts for adults, only kids. She's completely delusional. Yeah, sure, making a list maybe makes it easier for people who are horrible at knowing what a person might want or need, but listing things way above budget? That's next level pretentious. What would you have done? Next up, a sister-in-law's pride kills the mood at a family dinner. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister-in-law how much my brother owes me when she tried to tell my nephews that I was an example of why they should stay in school? I'm a steam fitter and I work a lot of overtime. I work a lot of overtime because I hate working. So I usually work like a madman for 7 months of the year and take the other 5 off. My brother is a teacher and the first person in our family to graduate from university. I've always been proud of him and he is actually pretty awesome. He married another teacher and they have 2 boys. His wife comes from a family of educated people. I think most of her relatives are college educated. My wife and I are expecting our first child, and we had my parents and my brother's family over so we could announce it. I spent the day getting my smoker going early, and we set up for what I thought was going to be a nice visit and announcement. Full disclosure, my wife and I currently live in a manufactured home, mobile home. We keep it tidy, and it has city water and power. I'm not sure why, but my sister-in-law decided that before dinner was the perfect time to tell her children that they needed to stay in school if they didn't want to end up like me and my wife. I saw red and was about to let her have it, but my mom and brother told her that she was being rude and that she needed to apologize. She didn't. She doubled down and said that we were doing okay for the 2 of us, but if we wanted a child, she just didn't want her kids to end up like us. I told my brother he needed to tell her to shut up or they needed to leave. She said that she was just thinking about our future and our children's future. I told her then that my kids would probably be okay as soon as her husband paid me back for his education that I paid for. My brother has no student loans because I paid for his education. I told her that my current house wasn't great, but the construction across the road was our new house we were having built since my wife and I owned the quarter section of land our trailer is on. I then told her that since I make more money than her and my brother combined while only working a little over half a year, I think we will be okay. I would not actually call in the loan to my brother. I know that they are living just within their means and do not have the money to pay me back. She got embarrassed and they left. I told my parents about the baby, and we had a crap ton of leftovers since 4 people left. My parents, my wife, and my brother all said that I didn't need to lose my cool with her and that she meant well. My mom said I was vulgar to point out how much money I make. I don't know. I hated myself for pointing out that my brother is poor compared to me, but I didn't start the conversation. Time for the community judgment. First up, not the a-hole. She should not denigrate what you do for a living. Your brother should have told her that he owed you money. The OP replies, I know, I just feel crappy for bringing him into a fight he didn't want. Somebody else replies, he had ample opportunity to correct her. If my missus said something like this, I would have started talking before she'd even finished her first sentence. Your mom says it's crass to talk about money. Your sister-in-law started by crap talking you at your own dinner table, and you quickly shut down that conversation. Another responder says, not the a-hole. She's 100% started it and had it coming. It would have been more polite for you not to, sure, but it also would have been way more polite for her not to use you as a warning tale to your face. Can't believe she did that either, after you paid for her husband's education. The OP replies, she did not know. Someone else replies again, well, now she does. All because she tried to start crap under the roof of that person feeding her, not the a-hole. Someone else says, she wanted to play the higher education game and lost. I don't understand why some college-educated people feel they are superior to everybody else. Some people would fall on their backsides if they knew how much some of these jobs pay. I know a guy who teaches at university and can't afford jack. I guess your only fault was that you could have chosen the higher road, but I don't fault you for going your route. Some people need to be educated, not the a-hole. She clearly didn't mean well. You stuck up for yourself. You absolutely have to. She definitely put her foot in her mouth and hopefully learned never to do that again. Your brother must have been so embarrassed. If he didn't want the fight, he should have said something to her at the moment. Instead, he made her believe that they were all high and mighty and cruising along on your brother's hard work alone. What do you make of this? Would you have said something? Why or why not? Thank you for following along today. Before you go, be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. If you have something you want to share regarding today's content, we want to hear it. See you next time in the rLounge.